Hey everybody, John here from No Joke NHL, here with our first report on the games played Saturday, August, January 19th, the start of this 2013 season. We have 13 games on the slate, relatively tight schedule, meaning they're not really huge favorites. There's two large favorites. The highest ones are they're both at minus 185 this afternoon. That's Nashville and Vancouver. Nashville, of course, hosting Columbus, and Vancouver hosting the Anaheim Ducks. So those are your highest favorites for tomorrow. The rest of the games are pretty close with home teams with being slight favorites or some teams being slight favorites on the road. So not a great day for dog playing unless you use an alternative book. Personally, myself, I use 5 Dimes. But I'm not endorsing any sports book. But basically, I like the feature of adding these alternate lines, so you get multiple choices on the total with juice, and they also offer minus 1.5 on both sides of the game, which comes into play also too. One of the things I started to tweak with last year and haven't really perfected it. I'm going to look into it this year. Is games where it's going to be a wide open style. But yet the two teams are tightly lined together, and so you basically could back both teams at minus 1.5 at a nice price. Probably like one team plus 200 something, and another team maybe plus 300 something. And provided the game doesn't end in a 1-goal game, then you're going to guarantee yourself a profit. So that's something I'm looking at to hopefully jump on this season. Although I haven't quite gotten a great feel for it in doing it. So looking at the games tomorrow, we have 3 games going off at 3 o'clock Eastern, and I actually like 2 of these games here. The first game, of course, the one with probably the most interest at that time, is going to be Pittsburgh Penguins at Philadelphia Flyers, a rematch of the outlandish playoff series where no defense was played. Books were setting totals of 7, things like that. And as a matter of fact, the first line I saw actually hung a 6.5 on this with the juice to the under. And slightly to the under, and then they've dropped it back down to 6 with the over at minus 130. I'm probably going to lay off that. I don't think I don't really want to do under 5.5, which would mean 5 goals in this game. Could be over, could be not. There's a lot of theories about whether or not this shortened season or the short camp and everything is going to lead to some overs, and I kind of agree with that in a sense. We may have some players that mentally are sharp, but their legs are not able to make the move as quick as it is. So we may see some hooking and some holding and things like that could lead to more power plays, which in turn could lead to power play goals, which could send games over. However, if I'm sitting here having the conversation with you about it, then most likely the books have already had the same conversation. So I think it may be factored into some of these lines. I think the value might be in finding some solid under games that you would have handicapped last year, and some things may have changed, and actually have a couple of games on here for those plays. So I kind of like the Penguins here. I think Danny Briere for the Flyers is injured yet again, and he's not going to start. He has a hairline fracture in his wrist, and he's a huge offensive weapon for them. But they're relatively used to playing without him, as he is often injured. But he is a big spark here. But I do like the Penguins to kind of come out here pretty strong, and Flyers on home ice. This is a 3 o'clock start, and like I said, I kind of like the Penguins to get off the bat here. I'm not crazy about Brizgalov. We'll see. He had a decent regular season last year. Was awful in the playoffs, and it ultimately cost the Flyers when they faced the Devils. The game that I really like is the Winnipeg Jets on the puck line at plus 235. Oh, by the way, the Penguins are minus 115 straight up on the money line, and on the puck line plus 230 against Philadelphia. I'll probably be on the puck line with them. The game I really like at 3 o'clock is the Winnipeg-Ottawa game. A lot of people high on Ottawa. I'm kind of high on Winnipeg a little bit. They have a brutal travel schedule, and I think it's going to ultimately catch up to them. But of course, this is the first game of the season, and they're playing at home, which is a boost for them. The fans of Winnipeg are very enthusiastic. The seats are close to the ice surface, and it's kind of a loud arena, and so I kind of look for them to come out and be able to handle the Ottawa Senators in this first game. I'm looking for some decent things out of Ottawa for this season, and like I said, Winnipeg's travel schedule may get to them. But as far as tomorrow, I definitely look at Winnipeg on the puck line at plus 235, probably as a solid play. They're minus 125 on the money line. This game is also lined at 6, with the over at even and the under minus 120. And like I said, I'm going to pass on that most likely. The other game at 3 o'clock, Blackhawks at Kings. I'm going to kind of watch that, although I do kind of like the Blackhawks here. They're a slight dog at plus 110. This is a body clock kind of thing. I think the Blackhawks getting out to the West Coast, this will be pretty much a 12 noon start for the Los Angeles Kings. The Blackhawks, however, will be playing as if it's a 2 o'clock game for them. Slight difference there. Like I said, a slight body clock play. I'm not crazy about it. I'm probably going to monitor at plus 110. It's probably not worth biting at. Starting at the night games at 7 o'clock, we have a great matchup, Rangers-Bruins. I really like Boston this year. I think Boston is really silently going to be a strong team to hold, or not necessarily silent. They got off to a great start last year and then spent the last 2 months of the season screwing that up, and then basically went to 7 games with the Capitals and were ousted in the first round. Tim Thomas not playing this season. Tuukka Rask is going to take it in here, and I kind of look for him to put Tim Thomas out of a job. I know Tim Thomas is an excellent goaltender. He'll definitely find work somewhere else if he decides to come back, but Tuukka Rask is definitely going to be up to the task. And so I'm kind of liking the Bruins here. They're a short money line favorite, minus 125 over the Rangers. Puck line at a juicy plus 240. Again, probably be on the puck line with that. 2 other games that I'm looking at starting later. We've got the Detroit Red Wings at the St. Louis Blues. In my opinion, 2 teams going in opposite directions. The Red Wings, I'm not sure what to make of them this year. They had a couple key retirements, and I just don't think their veteran leadership and their savvy, their intimidation is going to be there as it has been there in years past. The Blues, however, are a team that's on the rise for sure. Ken Hitchcock came in there last year at the beginning of the year, turned things around, turned them into a stellar hockey club. There's some injuries on offense that didn't stop them from getting the #1 seed in the West and going into the playoffs. They dismantled the San Jose Sharks after killing their nerves by losing Game 1, only to be taken out by the Los Angeles Kings, the eventual champion. So really nothing to fault them there. They had a lot of youth in this organization. Hitchcock is a class act, and I look for them to be very strong this year. They opened up at about 20-1. I did not get on them at 20-1. They're currently in the neighborhood of 12 to 14-1. A little bit short, in my opinion, for that. However, I do look for them to be strong. They are minus 1.5, plus 215, and a minus 145 over the Red Wings. This game currently is lined at over 5, or at 5, with the over at minus 120, the under at even. I'm kind of looking, waiting for the lines to come out tomorrow, where we have the alternative totals, and this is a perfect game where I'm looking to play the over 5.5. I do like the over as the juice is showing here. However, I'm going to take the over 5.5 at probably in the neighborhood of plus 140, plus 150, and shoot for that 6th goal. Both of those bets would win, by the way. The over 5 minus 120 and the over 5.5 plus 150. So, again, I put a totals video out last May, and then I retweeted it out today to look over that, so you know my feelings about that. I try to avoid laying these flat numbers, especially with juice going against me. So that's one play I'm going to be looking at tomorrow, the over 5.5 plus 150. The other game I'm looking at to play tomorrow is Minnesota Wild hosting the Avalanche. Again, the Wild with the 2 top free agent signings and things like that, and I look for their offense to have improved. The Wild, a great under team last year, but they have some weapons on offense now, and I'm kind of looking for them to break out and possibly get a little scoring and complement the great goaltending that they have there with Backstrom. And this is another game where the total is lined at 5, the over at minus 130, the under at plus 110. And like I said, I'm going to probably wait till tomorrow and probably get the over 5.5. Like I said, at plus 140, plus 135, wherever we can get it for tomorrow. So these are the games that I'm looking at for tomorrow. Feel free to ask me any questions on any other matchups I didn't mention or that I'm not on. I'll do my best to try to answer. Some games I just really don't have a feeling either way. People come up with winners and or losers all the time that way. So these are the ones that I'm looking at, and like I said, the lines, tomorrow's lines will be more expanded. We'll have more expanded puck lines, more expanded totals. Like I said, especially with these alternative shops, which I highly recommend. It really makes for a lot better chance of profit in this league because, like I said, with these key numbers, especially on totals, being 5 and 6 and things like that, and with the push involved, and especially with laying heavy juice one way or another with that flat number, it's just really not a thing that makes me run to the window. So having these alternative lines really helps. So I can't wait. We're probably we're actually less than 24 hours and counting now as I tape this, and I wish the best of luck to everybody out there. Tell your friends No Joke NHL, and I will see you guys most likely with my next video report Monday morning. Probably won't get a chance to do another video over the weekend with all the football parties and everything with the Ravens being in there, but I'll certainly be watching a lot of pucks, and so I'll be tweeting out my plays and things like that for Saturday and Sunday. And with that, good luck, and let's drop the puck.